Greetings, y'all. It's your Knock Peter Mata, and welcome back to another Golf Stories podcast. Obviously, as you can see on YouTube, I'm not joined by Mr. Daryl Atten, PGA Tour caddy. Unfortunately, Daryl is out feeling under the weather, unable to really talk. He just texted me, but he has given me the blessing to go ahead and try out this solo pod. So look, back at it by myself, I guess, on the Golf Story stuff. It's an interesting little format. We're going to try it out. No script involved at all, just me and my thoughts. And hopefully y'all can enjoy this week, a little change of pace. But of course, before we get into the PGA Tour stuff and what we got going on, we always start with kind of what we're doing with our lives and how our golf game's going. I know last week we had talked about how our games are trending and how I had some big things going on with my plans this past week. So last week I had a scramble on Friday, and then the fam and I also took a trip to Gulf Shores, Alabama, which is a hotbed for good golf, if those of you don't know. And as you can imagine, the trip went pretty successfully, both in the scramble and the Gulf Shores trip. In the scramble, we had three teams of four for my company for the scramble at shout out to Copper Mill Golf Course, 666 type of course, 6 par threes, par fives, par fours, really fun course to play. It was really dried out. Shout out to my teammates who weren't really in it for the golf; they're in for the drinking, but we had fun with it, and we were really rolling there for a while. I was carrying us to the promised land before the drinks hit me. I had, I was like 5 under, I think, at one point with my own ball through 5. And in that stretch, I had a eagle. I also took the longest drive home, and I chipped in for birdie to keep us going for a stretch there, and lipped out for another eagle. So I don't know what it is with scrambles, but they get the juices flowing. They get me aggressive with my game. Maybe I should kind of take a little bit more of that for my actual game when I'm playing by myself. As far as my games goes with the golf trip and Gulf Shores, didn't carry over. So there's the difference. I went 5 under and 5 holes in the scramble. I'm not going to reveal the scores I shot, but it wasn't pretty. I lost a lot of golf balls and played pretty tough courses there, and actually Alabama and Mississippi the second time. So we played Kraft Farms, Cotton Creek course. It's a 36-hole facility there in Gulf Shores. A shout out to Arnold Palmer. A great design, beautiful. It was very pristine looking, and I enjoyed it, and I give that a shout out for sure. Those who are looking for a good golf track out there in Alabama. Just one of those courses where it's out of bounds both sides and water on every hole seemingly. But had a few drinks as well, both in the scramble and during that round, and got a little beach time too afterwards, so let the body recover. And then next day, again, Arnold Palmer design, this time in Mississippi, the bridges. As you can imagine, there's a lot of bridges and there's a lot of water on that course. So again, a lot of lost golf balls, but tons of fun being had with my family and I. And the golf game's not far away. Just need to keep it in play, really, and then make some more putts. But that's me. I obviously got some sticks on the way. For those who know, shout out to Adam Harding hooking me up with some ping clubs at a nice discount. Hopefully, can get those in the bag pretty soon. But that's the state of my game, as we always do. Talk a little business or a little fun before we get into the business at hand. So with that being said, let's get into it. Last week was the CJ Cup in Congaree, still behind me, as you can see here. And old Rory McIlroy, Daryl's boy, taking it home, not only defending his championship, but also getting back to number 1 in the world. Pretty cool stuff from Rory. I think that's his So he won last year, was his 20th win. Won the Canadian Open and won the tour. So it's 23rd win, I believe, if I'm counting correctly. Put on a just masterclass performance as he does. Very talented player, as we all know, and just lacking that major in what's been almost 10 years. But you know, he came out to play this week and really showed his class. Been playing really great golf since all the live stuff has come out. So, you know, shout out to that for kind of, I guess, getting pumped up to play and you know, showing what we expect out of Rory and everything like that. I didn't catch too much of it. I admit, obviously, being busy with the scramble and the Gulf Shores trip, but caught the highlights and you know, the course looked gorgeous. I mean, I really do believe they should have this in some sort of rotation with some tournament, whether it's a major or whatever it is, a President's Cup. I think the course looked absolutely pure and would love to play there one day. I mean, look at it. It's got that Pinehurst feel and just lush grass. Looks tough, and I was expecting a little bit more of a battle, a little bit more of a test. But you know, when you put the best players in the world on it, what can you do? But you know, shout out to Congaree and all their ambassadors. They're not members, ambassadors. But as far as the other contenders go, I know Kirk Kitayama finishing second place. He's been a name we talked about a lot in the pod. Again, kind of a day late and dollar short. I was my pick in Japan in the Zozo, but didn't really show too much there. But showing to be a very capable player. Hasn't won yet, but I believe that's his fourth top three finish or something like that this year. And just getting things started with this season. Big time for him. I mean, he's a guy who went through the DP World Tour, went through the Corn Ferry Tour, and really built his way up. I guess you would say the correct way, you know. And then now he's put himself up there a bunch of times. We know who he is. Now he's one of those players where you're like, okay, he's one of the best players who doesn't have a win, and you want to be surprised if he gets it soon. And like we've said before, it's usually at kind of, I guess you would say, foreign places, overseas places where he plays well. CJ Cup typically would be if it was in Korea, as it normally would be. But you know, hey, this still counts in in his resume and put another feather in his cap, so to speak. So shout out to Kirk Kitayama. Other contenders, good to see John Rahm. It's been a while since he's been in playing in America, playing a lot in Europe. Which kudos to him. He's one of those players that does go back and forth, which I really respect, and he wins. He wins on both tours, and it's good to see that he's still in form. If anything, tied fourth. He was up there for a long time. Cage Lee, Big Sexy, was up there a long time. So it was really good to see that a guy who we know when he gets it going can be deadly. And you know, obviously CJ is a Korean company, and it's probably good for them to have a Korean golfer up there. So really cool to see the sexiest golfer alive make an appearance. And as far as I saw Tommy Fleetwood, once again, one of those runs he makes, but comes up short, not enough holes to make up the difference. But a lot of good names up there. There's a big name tournament. Yeah, I mean, usually the big names come out to it because it's a no cut, and you know, the last few years it's been in the US, so it's been a nice spot for them to kind of, I guess, start your season and get it going. So again, kudos to Rory McIlroy getting back to number one in the world and getting that 23rd victory. He's making a run for it, man. I mean, it really looks good for the majors in 2023, and I'm sure Daryl is very happy to hear that. But yeah, that was the CJ Cup. Big names, as I said. So we're going to shift gears to a place where the big names are not showing up this year, seemingly. The Bermuda Championship. Excuse me, the Butterfield Bermuda Championship. What a name. Beautiful Bermuda. Small little island, but have plenty of things to do, plenty of golf out there. I've never been, but I know. Just based off the pictures. You can see behind me, that's the 16th hole at let me get this right. I believe it's Port Royal Golf Club out there in Bermuda. This is the fourth year, I believe, for the event. Again, as I just mentioned, CJ Cup brings a lot of names. Unfortunately, the big names don't usually make it out here. And this year in particular, the field, it really is kind of lacking. But they're still all very good PGA Tour players. I'm not, saying that they're scrubs, but the big names really decided not to come out this time. But still, PGA Tour points up for grab, FedEx Cup points up for grab, money up for grab, and usually this is kind of the alternate field event to the WGC in China. Well, this year it's a full thing. They're giving Masters invites. They're giving the 2-year exemption, which essentially feels like 3 years because you got this little extra part of the season plus the whole season ahead of you. I mean, this is a big time event for these guys that are in the field. It is a chance to really stake your claim and earn your keep for those guys, especially those guys who just came off the Corn Ferry Tour. Get a dub. Last year, Lucas Herbert got his W, and I believe it was his third event as a full-time member. So, it's doable. There's a lot of things up for grabs this week, and I'm looking forward to it. It's not a long golf course. It's par 71, 6 to 800 yards. And as you could see by the winners, Lucas Herbert, Brian Gay, Brendan Todd, these aren't the longest players. No one would mistake them for bombers, but they are solid, consistent players, plotters, and guys who, when they're hot and they can get the putter going, can be quite deadly. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of an open field. Obviously, it would help to be a long bomber, and that would help to alleviate some shots. But, I mean, when you have holes like this on number 16, you need to be precise more than anything on this golf course. Obviously, I haven't been there, but I would say keeping it in play and taking advantage of it by having really sharp iron play. And I think that it reflects that with the winners here. Interesting enough, I still remember, I think Patrick Reed pulled out a shot here last year. And he finished second. So it's a place where you can really get your season going and get some things going in the right direction as you enter this year. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, they even got John Daly as a sponsor exemption to get in the field, so they have a big name player. So really lots of things up for grabs. Anyway, I'm stalling. So let's get to, I guess, the picks for this week. Who am I going to pick for the Butterfield Bermuda Championship? There's a lot of interesting names that, it's up for grabs. And the odds are below if you want to check those out below. So for me, I like a guy for my dark horse pick who's a bit of a veteran. He usually plays well in the fall. There's only 2 wins in the fall. And generally plays Bermuda golf course as well. He's a southern boy. This is a Bermuda golf course, obviously, not just because it's, in Bermuda, but the grass also happening to be Bermuda. So anyway, I'm going to go with Robert Streb. 110 to 1 odds. Not the biggest name, but a 2-time winner. Won, I think, as recently as 2021 against Kevin Kisner. So he's a guy that's been on tour, always seems like he keeps his card. Again, steady plotter, not the longest hitter, but gets the job done when he needs to. So I like the old vet, Rob Streb, as my dark horse pick. For my contender, a guy who just he won at the course last week at Congaree, a guy who can kind of grind it out. Not the longest again, but guy who's been a pick on the pod several times, not only by me, Mr. Garrick Higo. 50 to 1 odds. I like his game. Lefty. Lefties are always crafty. He's a guy who can get the ball in the hole when needs to be. He's a winner at such a young age. He came in, I think, second or third in the Sanderson Farms. And, that's a Bermuda golf course too. So, hey, that helps, right? He's a guy he's a young stud. And I think there's also some, I guess, how do you say, motivation for not making the President's Cup this year. And after seeing what old TK, Tom Kim, did, I think young studs, international young studs, want to make sure they place themselves up into the list for the next one and just to prove themselves as the next batch of goodies. So Garrick Higo is my contender pick, 80 to 1 odds. For my winner chicken dinner pick, I'm going to go with MH. So I made this comment a few pods back that 2 out of 3 winners this year have the initials MH. So Max Homa and our boy, friend of the pod, Mackenzie Hughes, Mac, Daryl's old boy. So that's two MHs. I'm gonna go for a third MH. I'm gonna go for Mark Hubbard. Mentioned him as a shout out for Las Vegas. He's 24-1. I think he's made the cut here for the last couple of years. He's played it. He's a guy that steady Eddie. Again, very similar, I'd say, to Robert Streb's game. That he's not gonna overpower a golf course, but he's gonna plod along, and then when he needs it, make some putts. I always remember him doing some silly putting grips out there. So he's a bit of a comedian too. Doesn't take himself too seriously. And you know what? He's been playing really well in this past summer, as well as I think as recently as the Fortinet, he was right up there and primed to get his first W. So Mark Hubbard, come on down, man. This is a time for you to shine. You're playing well. Go ahead and get that W. As far as other guys that I see that are favorite, Seamus Powers, 18-1. He's not the favorite. Denny McCarthy, really, really interesting pick there. I was tempted to go that way. He's 16-1. He's tied for the favorite with Thomas Dietrich. Denny McCarthy is a really good putter, and again, not the longest, but can make some putts, and when he puts the ball in play, can be dangerous. So Patrick Rogers, a talented stud for a long time. Aaron Rice, scrambler, grinder. I was actually eyeing Steven Yeager. I don't know why. Just his name popped out to me. Maybe too much Jägermeisters by me in the past few days. But anyway, those are the picks that I have. Man, I can't talk. See, this is why I need a sparring partner. But anyway, those are the picks that I have for the Butterfield Bermuda Championship. Tune in this week for it. Looking forward to a fun week out there. As far as some other things that are going on this week, we got LIV Golf. The dark side, as some would say. Getting it going for their team championship, their inaugural team championship, their last event for the year at old Trump Doral, the Blue Monster. Man, remember that course? That was a fun course. Got a facelift back in, I want to say 2013 or 14, and they really made it a super blue monster over there. 7,500 yards, really girthy, really long, lots of water. So it's gonna be fun to watch out there. As far as the team format and how it's gonna work, so there's gonna be, I believe it's 4 teams got to bye. I would imagine those are the 4 best teams, and then the other 8 will play off to get to the next round. So those top 4 seeded in those 8 will get to choose who they play. And the way it works is that there's going to be 2 people in match play. So think 2 for 2, and then 2 other people in a 4-ball. So like I believe it's what's it called, an alternate shot aspect, kind of similar to like a mini little Ryder Cup, little President's Cup. 3 points up for grabs to see who advances. So I honestly didn't really check who's versus who. I know obviously probably the 4 aces got a bye, and the Fireballs, I'd imagine, and probably the Stingers. All the teams that have actually won probably have a bye. I did see Phil and Brooks got into it. I mean, kind of jokingly. I did. Hey, I actually do like it. I think they're kind of relaxed, and they actually can throw some jabs at each other and needle each other with some things like that. The trash talking, as you would say. And I kind of like it. Hey, it's different. It's what you do with your buddies out on the golf course anyway, and we just kind of finally see some pros doing it. I'm sure they do it when they're practice rounds too. But hey, this is what they're going for. Something different, and I'm down for it. It's competitive golf at a high caliber place. Sure, why not? Let's play ball, right? So it's gonna be interesting to watch. As far as I guess teams to watch, let's see what the odds have. Obviously, the 4 aces. Look at that, 2-1 as the favorites to win it all. The Crushers are second favorite, Bryson's team, Fireballs are third, 4-1. They're actually they're tied with the Crushers. They're tied second at 4-1. Looking at it, and it's tough to go against four aces, obviously. But you know who I really like? I really like Sergio Garcia's Fireballs. They've been playing consistent. They've gained confidence. They've got a win under the belt. Chikara got a win himself under the belt. They've got some talented players. Obviously, Sergio's got his Ryder Cup and team experience. I feel like this is stuff that will get him engaged and wanting to play well. And then you got some young studs. You got Answer and Ortiz, who are very spicy, competitive guys who will get it going. And I think they can really put up a fight against any one of these teams. So I'm really thinking the Fireballs are going to be the ones to pull it out in the team championship. Let me do a little bit more research as far as how this works. As far as I'm guessing the winning team is kind of the champion at the end. It's sort of like NBA or NFL. The actual playoffs, or MLB, where the actual playoff determines the winner of the season. So interesting. Y'all wanted playoff golf. Well, you got it. This is a new format that's going to get tested out. Let's see. It says 16 million will be paid out to the team element. So I think the way it works also, so I didn't mention this. So obviously you have those 8 first round matchups, I guess you would say. They advance. Whoever wins advances to the next round. They go against the 4 teams that had a bye. Do the same thing, 2 matches, and then 1 match, 1 4-ball alternate shot thing. It's 3 points up for grabs to see who advances. And then those final 4 teams will get to the championship match, and then all 4 score counts. So, yeah, it's all hands on deck, all, let it all out, play your heart out. I think I have it here, $1 million to the worst team, and $250,000 to the worst individual. And so potential, if you win the individual in that, you get 4 million, and then you get 16 million with the team event. So 20 million possibly up for grabs if you're the winner chicken dinner. So a lot of money up for grabs. That's what old LIV wants, right? So hey man, this is pretty cool stuff in my opinion. And it'll be interesting to watch. Sure, the fans will turn out. I actually did see like the fans are actually tailgating for LIV events, so that's pretty. Hey man, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty different. Maybe the novelty will wear out. It still hasn't. I'm still tuning in for old LIV golf. So forgive me if that inconveniences some of you, but I'm gonna tune in. High caliber players, lots of money on the line. Big time golf course. Why not? So yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess as far as, like I said, I've never been to Bermuda. I actually never been to Miami either. I've been to Florida, but really don't have much other things to talk about or memories to bring up for those. This is where I sorely miss Daryl to share his stories about his travels on the tour. So hopefully next week he'll be back. Sorry again that we're 1 day behind, I guess, schedule, and also that Daryl's missing. I hope he does feel better. He showed me a picture of NyQuil cough medicine. He said, dude, I can barely talk. There's just no way unless you can either do a solo pod or we can try to do a recap on Saturday. And I told him I'm low-key interested in doing the solo pod because I've never really tried it. So here it is. I stuttered a lot and I'm sweating and I don't know. I need a sparring partner. I'm best when I need a sparring partner. So forgive me if this isn't the quality work that you know us by. But anyways, I thank you all for always tuning in. We've had some good viewership for the last couple of them. I think since the 70s. So that's pretty dope. Appreciate y'all for watching. Yeah. And don't be shy. Comment below what y'all think. Who's gonna win and LIV? Who's gonna win the PGA Tour? Whatever it is. Like, comment, or see, I can't even get this right. Like, subscribe. comment below. You know your words mean something to me.